You're not on the field, court, or ice. You're on the couch. From PG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, CWall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from the hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's CWall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you not on the field. Cold on the ice, pick any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it make them mad, man. CWall and we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Is what we do.
Good evening and welcome to Coaching from the Couch, live from the WBGR Sports Network studios. I am your host, CWall. Thank you so much for joining me as you do every Thursday to talk everything about DC sports. So, a couple of announcements. I'm going to start doing announcements like they do in church at the beginning of every show. First announcement being, if you're watching, there's a share button when you're pulling up the video. I actually have to go onto the computer myself here in a minute. But there's a share button. If you have family, friends that would love to join the conversation live, definitely invite them to the Coaching from the Couch party so they can chime in and discuss all the DC sports with you, or just share it on your page. Feel free to tag me or any of that cool stuff. My other announcement is this. I always have to give a shout out to my team, and which is also my live studio audience that is in the studio with me. So today I have Rhonda, who is my stylist, my hairstylist. So she is here, and Joy is here, and Matt is here. So if you see me looking over or hear other voices, that's who it is. I'm not talking to myself in here. So anyway, let's get going. It's a lot to talk about. It took me a while to figure out the order in which I wanted to share all the updates from this week. Of course, we only have 30 minutes. You all are stuck with me until 8 p.m. But guess what? We're going to fit as much as we can in and just try to get the conversation going. First, I want to give a shout out to Victor Oladipo. As everyone knows, he's from this area, but he suffered a season-ending injury last night during the Indiana Pacers game. Definitely want to shout him out and just give all the CWall love and prayers his direction. He was having a tremendous year, and so I'm sure no one is as disappointed as he is given the injury that he endured last night. He has a ruptured quad. The MRI results came back today, and he will certainly be out for the season. He got a lot of love from from everybody. So from the home team folks to his fellow basketball players across the league. So much shout out and much love to him, and hoping for a speedy recovery. Next, have to shout out the Magic Man was in town. Did you all know that Magic Johnson was here yesterday? Magic Johnson graced the District of Columbia with his presence. He went to speak to the students at Ballou Senior High School, so shout out to him. They had originally scheduled him to come to a back-to-school block party, which was back in September. Due to his very busy schedule, he wasn't able to make it, but Magic kept his word. He said, I still want to come out there. I still want to come and talk to the students and share all the lessons learned from his career as a basketball player to his career as a businessman, and just talk to them about entrepreneurship and just reaching all of their dreams and goals. So shout out to Magic Johnson. The pictures look great. Of course, I was not there, but the pictures look absolutely awesome. So definitely shout out to him. Now, I want to shout out Francis TFO. He is a hometown tennis phenom that I have to talk about. So he's an American professional tennis player, the 4th youngest player ranked in the top 50 by the Association of Tennis Professionals. I have to share the backstory about Francis because I think it is so awesome. And anybody listen, one thing about it, even if you're not necessarily playing in the area, if you from here, we gonna shout you out when you're doing great things in the sports world. We gonna shout you out for sure. So just some background about him. He is a career high ranking of number 38 in the world right now. He won his first ATP title last year at the Delray Beach Open. And just some background. I think it's very, very cool. In 1999, his father was part of the construction crew that built the Junior Tennis Champion Center in College Park. So when the facility was completed, his dad was actually hired as an on-site custodian where they actually lived for a few years. That is where Francis started his tennis career. Around at the age of 8, he started, professionally trained in tennis, and the rest is history. I already feel like I know Francis. I feel like we already close. You want to know why? Because he is a home team sports fan. So he's a fan of the Redskins, he's a fan of the Capitals, and he is a diehard fan of hometown basketball player Kevin Durant. So what is so important about Francis, though, I got to share this. He was unseeded at the 2019 Australian Open, and he won the first round. So he made it all the way to his first Grand Slam quarterfinal appearance. However, he lost, but we still have to shout him out. Tremendous job. Kudos to you, and can't wait to see all the great things you do as you further along in your career. Now, let me try to get on my computer. Y'all know it's always, I don't ever get on this computer right. I be sitting up there looking really, really crazy trying to get on here. But we're going to try. 1 second. Let's see. All right. So I'm on here. If you say something, then let's just see whatever that is. I don't know. So anywho. Let's go. Let's keep talking DC sports. If I'm able to capture your comment, I will definitely address it if I'm able to capture it, but we shall see what happens. All right. Moving on. Have you heard? I think everyone knows that the Golden State Warriors are in town to face the Washington Wizards. But not just about the game. This is not just about the game this go around, because Kevin Durant opened it was the official grand opening on yesterday of the Durant Center that opened up in Suitland, Maryland in PG County. We gotta give him all the props in the world for doing this. So I have to share with you all. So the Durant Center is PG County's first college track center in the college track organization. This is actually their first site on the East Coast. So this is something that Kevin Durant saw at a conference. He wanted to learn more about it, and he said, I got to get this back at home. And he made it happen. I can only imagine the moment of seeing, the Durant Center on this building and just knowing what that is going to do, for years to come. I mean, you're talking about building legacies and leaving legacies. This is what you're talking about right here. And so this facility is an after-school facility that commits resources and time to helping low-income and underserved students not just reach college, but to graduate. So they begin the relationship with these students when they're like preteens, and it goes for like a 10-year span that this program gives kids what they need from an academic, financial, and social emotional skill set that they provide these students. And that is just phenomenal. On top of the fact that he donated $10 million to a fund which gives college, gives college scholarships to kids from here. So, hey, listen, I would love for the Wizards to beat the Warriors tonight. I think it would be absolutely tremendous. But we definitely have to give KD his props for doing this for the community. I just want to say this really quick. All too often I hear people say that he doesn't do enough. And it takes everything in me not to shoot back about everything that he does do. Let me tell you something. If there's anything negative to be said after this, then I don't know what to tell you. Because not only that, I'm sure there's much more to come. And everything that he's doing in the West Coast, he's doing it here at home. And you gotta definitely just think that that's awesome. So kudos to KD. But we're going to talk about the Warriors versus Wizards in a minute. Because I ain't going to say nothing. Definitely big up to KD. I don't know if he's coming back home, but shout out to him. So, the Redskins. Why always give a deep sigh when I get ready to talk about them? So, the Redskins have announced they have a new defensive back coach. They have hired Ray Horton. All right. So Ray Horton has 23 years of coaching experience. You all may have heard this name before. I was like, I know Ray Horton. You mean former Cowboy player Ray Horton? Yes, that's former Cowboy player Ray Horton. He had a 10-year NFL career as a defensive back with the Bengals and with the Cowboys. So he is now here. Welcome. If folks don't know, Coach Torian Gray left the Redskins to go be the defensive back coach at Florida. So now we have Coach Ray Horton bringing a plethora of experience here. So hoping for the best as always. That's all I can say when it comes to stuff like that. Hope for the best. Kudos and welcome to DC, Coach Horton. Now, let's talk about regarding the Redskins. Let's get right into it. Bruce Allen, and we gotta talk about Bruce. Here's why. A lot of fans don't like Bruce. A lot of people do not like Bruce at all. So Bruce and had been complaining about Bruce doesn't do enough interviews. Bruce isn't talking to the people. Where's Bruce? Where's Bruce? So guess what Bruce did? Down at the Senior Bowl. There's a Senior Bowl going on right now down in Mobile, Alabama. That is where the college seniors play their last game. Now, not every senior plays, but those that are able to and are good with playing, they go ahead and play. All of the teams come. All the NFL scouts are there. Media is all there to scope out who they might be eyeing. And this is an opportunity to see these folks in action before the NFL Combine, which starts at the end of February, beginning of March. So at the Senior Bowl, Bruce Allen decides to have an interview. After he hasn't talked to anybody, there's all types of hashtags, fire Bruce Allen. So what I decided to do, I listened to this interview a lot. I did. I really did. And I said to myself, okay, let me try to figure out all he said and all he didn't say. And so let's just go through it. And everybody definitely chime in. It's in the room and online because I am trying to check online at the same time. So he says regarding Alex Smith, he said that Smith is well on his way to recovery. Shout out to Alex Smith, too, because he was at the Wizards game the other night. He says, we'll see where it goes. We're optimistic that they don't have to make a decision right now on Alex being a contributing member of the 2019 roster. And he was, when people were asking him, what he looking like? What's he doing? Bruce said, hey, I'm not a doctor. Okay? So it's clear that they're staying away from any comments around Alex's recovery period. So I picked up on that immediately. They're letting it be known they don't have to make any decisions right now, which the reality is they do not. And hey, he's not a doctor, so he doesn't want to misspeak at all. Okay, I can appreciate that. He definitely says regarding Colt McCoy that Colt is going to be ready to go at the end of the off-season program and will be ready to compete for the starting job. So, they got Colt on an extension. So Colt will be here. Let's just let it. And he will be here and will be competing for a starting job. What does that say to me? Okay, we know Alex is not going to be ready at the beginning of the season. Colt will be competing for a starting job. That's what we know. He did mention, I was shocked. He continued to mention being 7-9 for the Redskins is just a few pieces away, and I'll get there in a minute. But he did say we're not going to use injuries as an excuse, which he actually kind of contradicted that later on, but whatever. But he did mention that, though, early on in the interview, that they're not going to use injuries as an excuse. He did note, at least on that day, this was Tuesday, that Coach Gruden was still interviewing coaches, which obviously he was. They brought in a new defensive back coach today. So Coach Gruden wasn't there on Tuesday. But they've spent a lot of time talking to folks to get new ideas. So that was a repeat theme that I continued to hear him say. He continued to say, we're just getting new ideas. New ideas. He wasn't going into detail. He wasn't showing anybody anything. He just kept saying new ideas, new ideas, new ideas. And I was kind of like, okay, we'll see how this goes. He didn't want to say, I think the thing of it was this. He didn't want to say exactly what those meetings entailed. He just continued to say that they were meeting with defensive-minded coaches to get new ideas. He continued to say that. So now, I'm going to keep going through this. He made a comment about being 7-9 and have to find some healthy, better players and coaches to put them in the right position to win. So the Redskins are in the middle of the pack. This is Bruce Allen, not me. This is Bruce Allen. So that means we're close to being better. He also mentioned, hey, this year we were just 2 games out of the playoffs. The year before and the year before that, we were just 1 game out of the playoffs. Okay? So, again, I'm going to go back to the comment that he said we have to find some healthy, better players. I told you I'm just going to dissect this whole thing. So I'm like, okay, so are you implying that we got some people on here that's a little injury prone? They always hurt. And that's true. There's some injury-prone people on this roster. We know who they are, okay? But to say healthy, better players, that's already saying we got some people that's not all that great. He's putting it out there. If you're paying attention to it, he's putting it out there. He did not directly answer the question about the meeting with Todd Bowles. He didn't. He didn't necessarily say, yes, we interviewed him, No, it was more, again, he when someone directly asked him, he said he wasn't getting into that because that was a private matter. So who knows what that conversation regarding Todd Bowles is really about. But what we do know is defensive coordinator Greg Mineski was in on those meetings, which would make you believe, okay, was this an interview or was this what Bruce is saying, which was just getting new ideas? Who knows? We'll never know. Just them in the wall, I guess we'll know. But we can always assume. I don't know, but I know it was very, very clear that he didn't want to say exactly what that was. So, which one is it?
She just came.
Which one? I think there's a question, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't see.
Read it.
They need to stop blackballing Colin Kaepernick. I'd rather have him than McCoy.
That's John Adams.
John Adams.
Oh, no. I think that's Christopher
Burton.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Colt is... We can say all of that, Chris. I hear you. But guess what? Bruce said Colt is going to be competing for the starting job. So that is what it is. One thing I think we need to realize, too. When they give us clues and when they tell us something, just take it for what it is. They signed Colt to an extension. Colt going to be here. Now, who else Colt is competing with? That we don't know. But what we do know is Colt will be competing for that starting position. I hear you. But Colt is here. He going to be here. And I know folks love the Skins, but yeah, it is a little dysfunction. And I'm not even done dissecting this interview yet. I'm not even finished with that yet, right? So, again, Bruce Allen mentions we just need the right ingredients, the right chemistry. He talked and mentioned free agency before draft. I'm going to say this. I would not be surprised if the Skins didn't make big moves in free agency. We're going to talk about that on another show, but don't be surprised because he talks about free agency before he talks about draft. So listen to the cues. And we all know where Bruce's role in this. Ain't nothing going past him, so let's just be clear on that. Reuben Foster. And I'm going to just shout out to my media colleagues. They did an awesome job. They didn't They was buzzing down everything. They was just gonna ask him every single thing to get to the bottom of it. They really did. They really did. So regarding Reuben Foster, they said Reuben Foster is doing all the things they have mandated him to do to wear the burgundy and gold. They did their homework on him, and they also did the homework on the person involved. I'm assuming that means both Reuben Foster and, the alleged accuser. So it seems like Reuben Foster will be a member of this team. So that is what that is. Said he wants to be a member of the team. Sounds like he will be. Regarding the stadium, he says they've had great dialogue with the mayor and the governor, but there's no final conclusions. But this stadium will be a lifetime commitment for the Redskins. This is Bruce Adams. This is a lifetime commitment, and this is somewhere where the Redskins will play for the next 50 years. They want it to be the greatest stadium in the world. This is all his words, and that the stadium can get done by the time that the FedEx Field leases up. I believe the FedEx Field leases up in 2026. So, very confident it's going to get done. There will be a new stadium. So, that's just all that. Here's what we know. That's all I'm saying. He mentioned. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it needs to be because we'd like to host a Super Bowl here in D.C.
Yeah, you would love to host a Super Bowl. The Dolphins going to have a Super Bowl next year, and they ain't want jack either. Mm-hmm. So why not? That's how I look at it. That's exactly how I look at it. So let's continue to move on. Let's move forward with this. Bruce said that he has a lot of confidence in Doug Williams and his department. Was shocked to hear him say that publicly, but I'm glad that he did. Whether he means it or not, I don't know. But I was very shocked to hear him say that out loud. I was like, oh, wow. But hey, that means they letting Doug, well, that doesn't mean that. It means that he trusts Doug to pick the right people. I'm going to keep going back to him saying stuff about better players. I'm like, ooh.
Somebody need to.
It means that some of y'all sorry. That's what he wanted to say.
Chris Burton said they're going to raise prices on the blue line.
I mean, hey, you gonna do something to pay. They're gonna do something to pay for it. They're gonna do something to pay for it. They're gonna start having more conversations with the team's current free agents. We know the team has quite a few free agents. Let's see. Preston Smith is a free agent. Jameson Crowder. We know AP has not been signed yet. And Adrian Peterson has not been signed yet. So there's several potential free agents. Zach Brown, right? No, Zach. I don't know what they're gonna do with Zach. I don't know.
Christopher Burton said Hall to read about the
So
We don't want the
So yeah, I don't really know what they're gonna do, but they said the conversations have started with the free agents on the team. Very preliminary, very early. He gave no indication of what's going to happen, but those conversations will increase as they get closer to the NFL Combine. So there's that again. Let's keep moving. Because I feel like they're still finishing the evaluation of current players. Then they're going to look at free agents. What I continued to hear was him talk about, I'm going to keep telling y'all this, continuing to talk about free agents versus drafting. We know they're going to draft. We know that. But he continued to mention free agency. So keep that in mind as this time goes up. He said he gets that the fans, what the fans want is the fans want a winning football team. He says he understands that. He understands the passion of the fans. He thinks it's fantastic. He thinks he's the right man for the job. All of those things. And all I have to say is, I don't know about all that. But at least he understands. One thing I'll say is this. At least he openly said he understands that the fans want a winning football team. So I hope my hope now becomes, listen, you can save all the glitz and glamour. You figure out how to win, and all will be well. Winning cures all. And I really think they need to get that. He continued to say the right ingredients and the right chemistry. And hey, Bruce is saying all the right things. We get that. It's some inconsistencies in some of the storylines that he's saying. But at the end of that interview, when he said, hey, listen, I know the fans want a winning football team. I said, you know what? At least they know that. But how they go about doing that, I don't know. I guess it starts now at the Senior Bowl. It can happen. Yes, it can certainly happen, and we'll just have to see how it all goes down, because I'm not so sure how it's going to go down. Really quick, at the Senior Bowl, just some folks that they're already mentioning, and I wanted to share this. BJ Lucas, he responded. Dion Black responded. Who should the Skins be looking at? What kind of positions should the Skins be looking at? So we're definitely looking at the linebackers, offensive line, left guard. The Skins been needing a left guard for a long time. We're short at safety now. DJ's gone. After wasn't necessarily panning out too well. Plus he ended up on IR. So we might need some help on safety. Corner, we don't know if Josh Norman is coming. We don't know. We know that cutting him will save a lot of money on the cap. We're going to talk about that on another show. But definitely need help in corner. And let's just go ahead and put it out there. We need some receivers.
Yes, Lord.
We need some wide receivers, because if there's nothing any more depressing to me is watching the playoffs, the NFL playoffs, and watching wide receivers that know how to run a route, the right route, and can catch a football. I mean, how much more could I ask for? I mean, what more do I need to say? I didn't think it was that hard. I'm not trying to dumb down the importance of the position, but my gosh. And then let's be for real, Jordan Reed stay hurt. Vernon Davis is a gem. But he's coming up. He's getting older. And Jeremy Sprinkle had way too many penalties for me. Yeah. And that's what I had to say. He had way too many penalties for my liking and what I like to see and what my taste is when it comes to that kind of thing. That was way too much. I was like, my God, seriously? So, hey, we shall see what happens. We shall see what happens. I know Chris is saying Norman needs to go. We'll see. What they really start needing to think about is these critical positions and who is going to be the next. Who's going to be the next Trent? Who's going to be next Trent Williams? Who's going to be the next Ryan Kerrigan? These guys are not going to last forever. And they need to start building that depth that I don't think we quite see yet in those positions. So until they do that, who knows? Because we're short on time, we'll talk a little bit more about potential draftees as time goes on. That'll be a lot to talk about between now and the combine. So I was going to talk a little bit about the Senior Bowl, and players to watch for the Senior Bowl, but hopefully y'all will check it out. But Wizards versus Warriors, we did talk about Kevin Durant a little bit a moment ago, and let me tell you something. The Wizards are playing well. I wish we had seen this level of effort all season, but hey, it's here now, and there's still time. I mentioned last week that Ted Leonsis was very clear in that they need to win. He still fully expects them to make the playoffs. So this is not, John is out, Dwight is out, Markieff is out, we out. No. They still need to put their best foot forward, and they are connecting, and they're playing well. They're doing what they should be doing. I love Otto coming off the bench. I think Otto is more comfortable coming off the bench, but as we continue to hear a message regarding Otto, is this: Otto needs to shoot more. So Otto, I know y'all about to start the game, so you ain't gonna hear me, but if you listen to this tomorrow, Otto, if they want you to heist, go ahead and heist. It's okay. They ain't mad at you. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be that goon squad official, lights out shooter. That's what they want you to do, because guess what? The Warriors got all that. The Warriors, I said that they got 5 All-Stars. Their whole star lineup is All-Stars. And all I'm gonna say is this. Do y'all best tonight. I mean, because here's the thing: it's hard to play the Warriors, but the Warriors are hot right now. But that doesn't mean that you can't shut them down. This might be the night where they off. This could be the night that they're off. So I fully anticipate seeing everybody rise to the occasion on the Washington Wizards team as we get ready to go down to Capital One Arena and check them out. So, with all of that being said, it is 8 o'clock. It is time to go. It's always a blast talking to you all. It really, really is. But until next week, I will see you all. Have a blessed evening. Good night.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make that double front flip. This is what we do.